What's up guys, I guess it's time for devlog number 2. And first and foremost, I got my Steam page up. And anybody who's done that probably knows it's not as easy as it sounds. But please, if you want to help out, please wishlist. I know it helps a lot. The link's in this description for that. But with that, let's go. Probably the biggest and most obvious thing is I changed my main character. This was one of the first things I drew and thought it started to look a little dated and not as good as some of the newer characters. So he got a full redesign, as well as I've lately been redesigning some of the weapons, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But along with the new artwork, I also redid all the animations. I think are a lot better. And even added some that were missing, like jump animations, stuff like that, and improved upon some of the other ones. Next, one of my favorite additions, even though it's kind of subtle, is the area titles that pop up when you load scene to scene or area to area. And I also added a subtle audio cue as well. This one's minor, but I don't think I touched on it in my other devlogs. I created and implemented the save system. I have a lot more work to do there, but I'm saving the basic player stuff right now. One item I've been putting off, I just, for whatever reason, thought it was going to take me a lot longer to do than about 30 minutes it actually took, was the player knockback when coming in contact with an enemy. And I did this with just using the rigid body and adding a force impulse on the opposite direction of the transform you run into, so it was pretty simple. And I hooked that into my existing damage feedback that I already have that controls the things like the cam shake and whatnot. So this one I still have a lot to do, but I decided to add weapons. I decided to add multiple weapons, specifically swords right now. And I'm thinking elemental types. So if you see here, I've got a frost sword and a fire sword that I'm working on. Both have unique animations and then a unique particle effect. And my thought is I want these to do different things to enemies. So the frost one will probably slow an enemy, and the fire one would add a damage over time to whatever you're attacking. Before I had one audio cue when hitting an enemy, and it got pretty repetitive, so I've upped that to 3, and they kind of randomly play, so it's working out a lot better, sounds a lot better. You don't get that same audio cue over and over and over every time you slice something. So right now my AI enemies were pretty basic. I have a base enemy class that I derive on all my new enemies, and I added a lot of functionality to that and polished some things like breaking aggro, returning to home, reacting to player movement, as you see the hop back from the skeleton here, the ability to make a decision between using certain attacks for enemies who have multiple attacks, and just in general more movement polish to help with a few bugs I had as well. I also added a couple new zones. One you've seen in the background here on this shipwreck area on the beach, and then kind of moving more towards the haunted zone. And down in this area I added, it's kind of a little mini jumping puzzle in this kind of a sewer area. I added the springboard to send you launching up. But the idea is once you get to a certain point, it starts to fill up with, you know, an acid sewage waste or whatever, where you have to race the clock up to the top. And it's still a work in progress as well. This zone in my Shark Island area is still very raw. I have the idea of a megalodon basically chasing you as you run through a jumping puzzle. So it is so much of work in progress, still got a lot to do here. And with that, guys, I know there's probably several other things that I did not note down that I changed or added. But as always, if you see anything that you have questions on, please ask and leave a comment. I would be glad to go over that. And please go check out the Steam page, wishlist if you can. Like and subscribe if you want, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next devlog.